What's going on, everybody? It's Hazy coming in with my first ever story time. So I hope everyone watching enjoys the video. I currently have strep, so if my voice sounds a little fucked up, we're just gonna blame it on that. Anyways, leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you will, and without further ado, let's hop right into tonight's video. So the story takes place fairly recently on a beautiful, beautiful August night. College just started not even 2 weeks ago. It was around 8 o'clock, I think, and one of my friends that I knew from high school that also went to this college hits me up and asks if I want to smoke. I had nothing going on at the time, just chilling in my room, listening to music, whatever. It was a weekend, so of course I said, yeah, fuck it, I'm down. And let's just call this friend Jerry. Now, me and Jerry lived in the same building on the same floor, and our dorms were on opposite sides of the hallway. So I walk over to his room fairly quickly. I knock on the door and say, hey, what's up, how you doing? Type shit. And Jerry goes to show me this joint he wrote for us to smoke. Now, listen. When I tell you this shit was a fucking log, oh my god, this motherfucker stuffed at least 4 G's into this thing. 4 fucking grams into one joint, alright? A little background on Jerry. He's a fucking stoner. He likes to smoke a shit ton. And I know this because anytime I was around this dude in high school, he smelled like straight gas. Anywhere he was at that I was at, he stunk up the whole room. It's like he had a week alone. Like, nah, he was constantly smoking a sticky icky. I don't know how this dude didn't get in a shit ton of trouble at school. He might have, I don't know. We weren't the best of friends, but we would occasionally like hang out after school and talk during school, just being casual friends, So of course when I walk into his dorm room, the whole room was loud as fuck. That shit just slapped me right in the fucking face. And I'm looking at the joint like, holy fuck, this shit's gonna take me out. Don't get me wrong, I smoked. Like, I smoked frequently, but Jerry, he was just on a fucking, Jerry was just on a different level. Alright. So he puts the joint in his pocket, and we get into the elevator, and we drop to the first floor. We walk outside, When we get outside, it was like that perfect weather. It was that perfect warmth at night, that like a warm summer night with a clear sky. It was fucking perfect smoking weather. It was around 8:30 when we got outside, I think. So I started asking him where we're gonna smoke at. And he said we're gonna go to the softball field and we're gonna light it up behind the bleachers. And according to Jerry, he smoked there plenty of times and he had never been caught. So I said, bet, sounds good to me. So we walked to the softball field, which wasn't a far walk at all. 5 minutes maybe. And we get behind the bleachers and spark this thing up. Now mind you, this was completely dark at this point. We had not a worry in our mind, no worry whatsoever. We get about halfway through this fucking log that he wrote up, and I'm fried the fuck out. I was so fried, my vision was about 10 FPS. Every time I try to look around, it was just stuttering. I was fucked. Jerry said he was pretty fried out too. We put the joint out. We sit there, chill for a minute, listening to music on our phones, and I completely zone out. Like, my eyes aren't even open at this point. They were completely closed. About 10 minutes after that, Jerry starts fucking poking me like a motherfucker. And it took me a second to like come to and ask what's going on, because I'm so just fucked. I look over at him and he's pointing at a white truck that's parked on the street way across from us. He asked me if I could see what kind of vehicle it was, and it was completely dark, and the truck is way over on the other street, far across from us. And I told him, Jerry, I have no idea, but like, you ain't gotta worry about nothing. It's definitely not a cop. There's no cops that have white trucks, and there were no lights on or anything. And there's no way like whoever was over there could see us. And he starts calming down a little bit, and I pause my music. About 30 seconds after that, Jerry starts fucking smacking the shit out of my shoulder. And like, I turn my music down to see what the hell's wrong. And right when I look up at Jerry, I see about 2 dark figures with flashlights running across the football field in our direction, like yelling some shit. So immediately Jerry and we stand up and we fucking book it off that field. We left the joint we rode and everything. Not we rode, fucking Jerry rode it. But we fucking left that joint and we fucking book it. And let me tell you, you would have thought I was on the fucking track team. Alright? I'm by no means in shape in any way, shape, or form, but you'd have thought I was on the fucking Star Trek team. This is the hardest I've ever ran in my entire life, alright? And we ended up running into a parking lot that was full of cars, and we get to the main end of the other side of the parking lot. We duck down in between cars, and we are fucked. We're completely out of breath, full of fuck. We're pumping full of adrenaline. You could have heard us trying to catch our breath from a fucking mile away. After I catch my breath, I turn to Jerry and I ask what the fuck. I asked who the fuck that was, and neither of us knew because, it was completely dark out. All with flashlights running straight at us, We didn't stick around there long enough to try to figure out who the fuck it was, because whoever it was, we didn't want to fuck with at the time. So, we were gone in the blink of an eye after that. Jerry and I, we calmed down a little bit. We pick our heads up from him, and we peek our heads up from in between the cars, and we see two different campus security vehicles. One of them will be in the white truck we saw before. I saw them coming down the road, and they were going pretty quick. They were fucking flooring it. Me and Jerry both watched them turn into the parking lot. So we duck back down trying to figure out what the fuck to do, and we see them driving in our direction, getting closer to us. So we ran to the front of the vehicle at an angle where they couldn't see us if they drove past us. And they were getting to the part of the parking lot we were in, and at this point me and him were full of adrenaline, fucking pumped. And we were ready to fucking book it if we seen them get out of their car and start walking towards us. So we're both crouched down, we're not making a fucking sound. And I am begging in my mind that they do not see us. I look over at Jerry, and I can actually see his fucking heart is beating through his shirt. We were scared shitless. And we hear them we hear them slowly creeping up right to where we were with their yellow lights on, and they get right behind the car we were hiding in front of, and they just drove past. We look at each other like, no fucking way. They drove right past us, and when they kept on driving, circled around, got farther away from us, we looked at each other. Me and him let out the biggest sigh of relief. We wasn't out of the woods just yet. We were still outside, out in the open, and that wasn't good. We needed to get back to our dorms fucking as soon as possible. So as soon as we don't hear their cars driving around in the parking lot, we both barely pick our heads up. And as soon as we don't see them, they're out of our sight. We fucking book it straight back to our building. We turned that 5-minute walk into a fucking 30-second run. I shit you not. And we're fumbling around in our pockets trying to get our student ID cards to scan the door or whatever so we can get back in. And as soon as we get in, we book it straight to the elevator. We're slamming on the elevator buttons. And we get up to our 11th floor, because me and him both lived on the 11th floor at the time. And we book it straight to Jerry's room. And as soon as we get in Jerry's room, we immediately fucking open the blinds, because, we're on the 11th floor. We can see, we can see pretty high up in all the roads. We open the blinds, and we just see 2 or 3 security officers fucking driving around in their cars, just patrolling. They got the yellow lights on, fucking just driving around. And as soon as we seen that shit, me and him both looked at each other. We start dying laughing. How in the fuck did we get away with that? Neither me or Jerry were athletic at all. Ain't no way in hell we could have outran them motherfuckers. But, it was looking good. We fucking got away. And we sat up for about another hour. The adrenaline was coming out of us. We were coming down from the weed. And me and him, we both passed out in his room. Even though I lived right down the hallway, I passed out in his room. I wake up probably about 8 or 9. Jerry was still completely knocked the fuck out. So I get up, walk to my room, shower and shit, get ready for the day. I walked to our Chick-fil-A on campus, eat a shit ton of chicken sandwiches because I was fucking starving, and never had any problems after that. Jerry hit me up a little while later that day, asking if I was all good. I said, yeah. And I asked him the same. He said, yep. So, you know, about the next week, me and him were still pretty sketched out because, you know, they could have looked at the cameras or anything. This was a college campus. There were probably cameras everywhere, every single corner you turned. But, you know, no problems after that. And yeah, that's the end of that story time. You can leave a like and comment if you did enjoy that, and if you didn't, leave a like anyway. You know, it's a nice thing to do. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. I'll leave all those links in my description. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next video, and have a kick-ass day.